Uranus, who has been in Taurus since 2018, briefly entered Gemini on July 8th, 2025 for 4 months. He returns into Taurus one last time on November the 7th until April the 25th, 2026. Taurus rules money and the land. Uranus brings revolutions, the unexpected, and helps us break free from binding conditions through rapid, sudden changes. During the last 7 years, while the tempo of life sped up significantly, we also became more and more aware of the amount of repression and control that was binding our lives. How will our finances, jobs, lives, the earth in general be affected in the next 5.5 months by Uranus returning into Taurus this one last time? Well, this is what we shall find out here today. Good morning, bonjour, Michelle Karen, astrologer shaman. Welcome to my channel dedicated to the practical uses of astrology to lead a better life. It is always interesting to go back in history and see what occurred when in the past humanity went through the same planetary cycle. The last Uranus in Taurus period was between June 1934 and May 1942, and it was, as to be expected, a time of major political, social, and economic changes. Following the huge 1929 Wall Street crash, the Great Depression set in, values inherent to materialism got challenged, many banks had to close, the money supply shrank, interest rates soared. There were high levels of unemployment. 40% of Americans were living in poverty. The farmers struggled due to the introduction of machinery, which created an overproduction, followed, of course, by an impossibility to sell. Immigration laws made it very difficult for foreigners to enter the US. A huge amount of discrimination against Jews, African Americans, gays, etc. emerged. There was also a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan, and of course, in the middle of all that period, World War II erupted in 1939, with the US entering it in 1941. So, returning to now, during the last 7 years, strange circumstances have caused upheavals. Our sense of security has been gradually undermined. Our finances became unsettled. Unforeseen circumstances shook our sources of income, and material values went through marked fluctuations. Being cheap is not supported by Uranus, but neither is spending freely nor too impulsively. Yet, we may have alternated between extravagant spending and frugal living. Serious mistakes could have been caused by seemingly clever investments and financial ventures that turned out to be impractical at best. The social order went through major disruptions requiring important financial adjustments. Old material values got shattered. We became aware of how enslaved by debts we had become. Branches of banks closed while some banks completely collapsed. Cryptocurrencies became more accepted, and everything we owned and believed in went into a state of flux, resulting in some cases in sudden losses. But also, as social media has developed, unexpected innovative sources of income emerged. Yet acquiring money too quickly or too easily could lead to great complications down the road. So, this leads us to now what to expect. Money and social consciousness are tied together. Devastating global events beyond our control can affect our finances in the next few months. We may feel called to support scientific projects, charities, humanitarian causes, or organizations that protect wildlife and nature. We could also realize the power our possessions have on us. Being too emotionally tied to what we own could cause everything to start falling apart, either through a natural disaster or an unexpected event that challenges our income. Best to simplify our lives before this starts happening without us being in control of it. As long as we stay away from get-rich-quick schemes, exploring new financial strategies, or investigating unconventional, intuitive, creative investments can be very valuable. We just need to make sure they are healthy and grounded. During this last period of Uranus in Taurus, the next 5.5 months, we are asked to figure out what security means to us. In our need to shake up what in our normal routine has gone stale, we could have to scrutinize our job, our relationships, and where we live. Too big a compliance to a more conservative way of living could frustrate our spiritual impulses. On alert for new opportunities and our desire for independence, we are likely to resist the interference and supervision of others. We could also be tempted to drop whatever's not working midstream and switch gears rather suddenly and maybe a little too impulsively. If we have ever wished to become self-employed or have been thinking of retiring, this is the time. The need to try something new overrules sticking to what we know. A certain degree of risk-taking helps us succeed. Uranus in Taurus inspires us to learn new management or accounting skills. With ingenuity and resourcefulness, we could stumble upon exciting, original ways of making money, but should be careful of scams. Exploring new business areas, especially if they contribute positively to the future of humanity, feels exciting. In a need for variety and change, we could try a succession of different jobs. Our independence and adventurousness, our ability to think out of the box, and the excitement brought about by challenges may reveal options we didn't even realize we had. Mentally agile, lively, curious, clever, and energetic, we seek answers to our questions. A deeper understanding that mind rules over matter intensifies our powers of manifestation. Our appreciation of beauty in all its forms is awakened. We could become aware of unused creative talents, personal resources we hadn't tapped into, or unusual artistic gifts we didn't even know we had. Collecting strange objects could feel appealing. We should remember that our divinity lies in our imperfections and that beauty is also found in uncertainty. Flowing with the flow, surrendering to our own vulnerability, favoring compassion over being right, prioritizing presence over productivity, and discovering that the greatest wisdom comes not from knowing, but from being, lead to a greater sense of peace. Major adjustments in our values may force us to rethink our plans for the future and go down a different path than originally planned. Our growth is significantly enhanced by the exploration of our dreams, meditating, creating or listening to music, developing our intuition, enhancing our ability to forgive, and most of all, having faith in something way greater than ourselves. If you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. Your comments are always appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to place a thumbs up and hit the little bell to be notified when I upload a new video every Thursday and sometimes another one during the week. Remember, as always, choose your battles, walk in beauty. Thank you for watching. Until next time.